Welcome back to the channel. I'm your PTE guide, and today we're diving deep into the reading fill in the blanks drop-down task. This section tests your vocabulary and your ability to grasp logical links within a text. Let's break down a passage on biomimicry to see how top scorers navigate these choices with precision and speed. If you're finding these strategies helpful, make sure to subscribe to my PTE Pro for more expert insights. Let's keep working toward your target score together. Biomimicry involves the study of nature's designs to solve complex human challenges in modern construction. The sentence introduces the concept of biomimicry as a bridge between nature's designs and engineering needs. By aiming to solve complex human challenges, the text establishes that biological patterns are functional models used within modern construction. Architects are increasingly examining biological systems to develop more blank building envelopes. This statement identifies the actors, architects, and their methodology of examining biological systems. The goal is to develop a specific quality for building envelopes, suggesting a functional improvement derived from nature. Rigid. Suggesting a rigid structure implies a lack of flexibility or adaptability, which contradicts the goal of examining biological systems that are often dynamic. While some structures are firm, the focus on nature's designs usually seeks advanced functionality rather than just stiffness. The selection is incorrect. Ornamental. Using ornamental suggests that the biological influence is merely for decoration. However, the passage emphasizes using nature's designs to solve complex human challenges, implying a focus on performance and utility over aesthetics. Incorrect. Efficient. Choosing efficient aligns perfectly with the objective to solve complex human challenges through better design. Biological systems are inherently optimized, so applying their logic helps develop building skins that use resources more effectively. Correct. Unstable. There's someone many is bride. One many actions, with everything's. And the terms. Describing the envelopes as unstable would imply a failure in engineering. Architects look at biological systems to improve stability and performance, making a word that suggests weakness logically incompatible with modern construction goals. Incorrect. Present. The term efficient is the most logically sound choice because the passage frames biomimicry as a solution to solve complex human challenges. Architects look at biological systems because nature has already optimized processes like cooling and energy use. Therefore, the goal is to create efficient envelopes that outperform traditional, less optimized designs. Words like rigid or unstable focus on physical states that do not represent the functional improvement described. For instance, the ventilation system of the Eastgate Center in Zimbabwe was blank by the self-cooling mechanisms found in termite mounds. The author provides a specific example of the Eastgate Center to illustrate the application of biomimicry. It highlights how self-cooling mechanisms in termite mounds serve as a blueprint for a human-made ventilation system. Restricted. The word restricted implies that the ventilation system was limited or hindered by the self-cooling mechanisms. This contradicts the positive context of using nature's ingenuity to solve complex human challenges in engineering. This selection is incorrect. Inspired. The word inspired accurately reflects the relationship where a ventilation system is modeled after self-cooling mechanisms. It captures the essence of biomimicry, where human innovation is sparked by nature's designs to create sustainable solutions. Correct. Abandoned. 218. A party, Dal, Mayance, my service. If the design was abandoned, it would mean the project was stopped and not completed. This doesn't fit the modern construction success story of the Eastgate Center, which is a famous real-world example of biomimicry. Incorrect. Obscured. To be obscured means to be hidden or made unclear. This choice makes no sense in a context describing how architects are openly examining biological systems to apply their clear and effective principles to building design. Incorrect. The context requires a verb describing the influence of nature on engineering. Inspired is the correct choice because the ventilation system of the Eastgate Center was modeled after self-cooling mechanisms found in nature. This fits the definition of biomimicry provided in the first sentence. Other options like restricted or obscured suggest a negative or unclear relationship, while abandoned implies failure, none of which align with the successful implementation described. These natural structures maintain a constant internal temperature, despite significant external blank throughout the day. This sentence explains the environmental stressor that the natural structures must overcome. It emphasizes the contrast between a constant internal temperature and the significant external changes occurring throughout the day. Dimensions and dimension. The word dimensions refers to the size or physical measurements of the mounds. However, the sentence is focused on the constant internal temperature, making physical size a logically disconnected factor compared to environmental temperature changes. This selection is incorrect. Projections. Using projections usually refers to future estimates or physical parts sticking out. Neither meaning fits the context of maintaining a constant internal temperature against the significant external heat or cold of the daily cycle. Incorrect. Incorrect. Reputations. The term reputations refers to beliefs or opinions about something. This is a social concept and is entirely irrelevant to the physical, self-cooling mechanisms and temperature control discussed in the passage. Incorrect. Incorrect. Fluctuations. The term fluctuations describes the significant external changes in temperature that occur throughout the day. It explains the specific challenge that the self-cooling mechanisms must manage to keep the interior stable. Correct. Fluctuations is the correct term because it refers to the rise and fall of temperature, which is the significant external factor mentioned. The sentence sets up a contrast. The mounds maintain a constant internal temperature despite the fact that outside conditions vary throughout the day. Dimensions and projections refer to physical shape, which doesn't fit the context of thermoregulation, and reputations is a social term that has no place in a scientific description of termite mounds. By mimicking such biological patterns, engineers can drastically reduce a structure's overall energy blank. This sentence outlines the practical benefit for engineers who apply these methods. It suggests that mimicking such biological patterns leads to a drastically reduced effect on a specific resource metric. Regulation. While regulation is a part of managing overall energy, the sentence emphasizes a reduction in amount. Biomimicry aims to drastically reduce the need for energy rather than just controlling how it is used. This selection is incorrect. Distribution. The word distribution refers to how energy is spread throughout a building. While important, the passage focuses on the total amount saved by mimicking natural self-cooling mechanisms, making a term for total usage more appropriate. Incorrect. And probation, 2/2. Generation. Energy generation refers to creating power. However, the Eastgate Center example is about a ventilation system that cools passively, meaning the primary goal is to lower the amount of energy the building needs to take in or use. Incorrect. Incorrect. Consumption. Using consumption refers to the overall energy used by a building. By mimicking nature, the goal is to drastically reduce the amount of power needed, leading to more sustainable and efficient operations. Correct. In the context of overall energy, the word consumption is the most appropriate collocation to describe the total amount of energy a building uses. The goal of using biological patterns like self-cooling is to drastically reduce this usage. While regulation or distribution are parts of energy management, the passage highlights a significant reduction in the total amount used, making consumption the logically correct fit. Ultimately, this approach ensures that human habitats are more blank with their local environments. The final sentence serves as a conclusion, stating that this approach leads to a better relationship between human habitats and local environments. It suggests a state of harmony or fitness. To compatible. The word compatible indicates that human habitats can exist in harmony with local environments. This reflects the successful mimicking of nature to ensure buildings function well within their specific ecological surroundings. This selection is correct. Profitable. While energy efficiency can save money, profitable focuses exclusively on financial gain. The passage's broader theme is the relationship between human habitats and the local environments, which is an ecological rather than purely commercial concern. Incorrect. Vulnerable. Describing habitats as vulnerable suggests they are weak or easily harmed by their local environments. This contradicts the goal of biomimicry, which is to solve complex human challenges and create more resilient, efficient structures. Incorrect. A process. Noticeable. The word noticeable means easy to see. Whether a building is easy to see in its local environments does not address the functional and ecological alignment that this approach of biomimicry aims to achieve. Incorrect. Incorrect. Compatible is the correct choice because it describes a state where two things, human habitats and local environments, work well together without conflict. This summarizes the ultimate benefit of biomimicry as presented in the text. 2 is too narrow, vulnerable suggests a negative outcome, and noticeable is irrelevant to the functional goals of modern construction inspired by nature. To excel in reading, fill in the blanks, drop down. Always look for context clues and common collocations like energy consumption. Pay close attention to how the sentence before or after the blank provides a logical lead-in, such as the relationship between nature and human design. Finally, remember that your choice must not only be grammatically correct, but also fit the professional and scientific tone of the passage.